No fancy editing, just straight value. And if you're someone that doesn't like making money and has low attention span, this video might not be for you. So today we're going to talk about Magic Mind. This brand does around 25 million a year, and in this specific video I am going to show you their ads, their emails, their pop-up forms, and their site, their Shopify store. Also, this entire file, if you want to get this entire file, you have the link in the description to get it, okay? Alright, so we're gonna start by talking about one of the most important parts here, meta ads, and it's interesting because I noticed that they're only running, in this particular case, right? They're only running video ads. Now they got about 110 meta ads currently live, which is great. Like I would say nowadays, you should have minimum 50 plus ads running, especially with the new meta update. But the interesting thing that I found here was that it's all video and it's all leading to the Shopify store, which I like, the Shopify page, which I don't really think it's ideal. They could do so many different things like advertorials, like creatives, like image creatives, image ads, which it basically essentially like it captures other types of buyers, because there's people that like video ads and people that like image ads, and there's people that like advertorials. And essentially, if you don't know what an advertorial is, it's basically an ad framed as some sort of a story or a study related to a problem that your brand solves. So for example, here they could decide to sell like drinks related to your brain, like that's good for your brain. They could just make an advertorial about brain, like a new study about the brain, you know what I mean? And this would lead to a specific page, and then that specific page would lead to the main page. But yeah, I think when it comes to the meta ads, they're just playing, you know, I think they could do a lot more. That's just my opinion. But yeah, they're doing at least what's currently working the best when it comes to, how am I gonna say this? When it comes to the easy path. I really can't put it into words when it comes to ads, because ads is quite a bit a deep topic here. But they're doing essentially, like they're playing it safe, let's put it that way, okay? And it's totally understandable. But again, I feel like running 110 ads is also really, really good. Alright, so that's the meta ads. Now let's get into their Shopify store, which we got it here. And this is from desktop, but it's very similar to mobile as well. And I just really like this is almost like an email, you know? I always say this. A Shopify store, it's like a long email. It really is. You got the above the fold CTA, so people can instantly click on what they want here. And then you have stuff about the product. You got all the products here. It's literally like an email. Then you have social proof and the final CTA. Like it's basically a long email essentially, and it's great. It's looking great. I personally like it. Now let's get into the product page. Now this is a bit more specific. I personally think that the product page is a lot more important than the main page, because, you know, this is where the decisions are made essentially. But let's go over it. And it seems that they got the subscription plan, obviously, which when it comes to email, like subscription email is a totally different game, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's something that I have to mention here, right? Yeah, they got the subscription plan, the buy it once. I assume they only like focus on subscriptions here, so that's great. And there are some brands that only do subscriptions. They don't do buy it once, which is interesting too. They could try that as well, but I don't know. Like, I'm not into the trenches of this brand essentially. So yeah, we got the product page here. A little bit more of, okay, this is about, okay, the ingredients they use. Okay. Oh, this is great. This is actually great. I like this. It's kind of like a pad to, yeah, I like this. The founder, this. I mean, it's great. Like, like I said, this is the most important page, but realistically speaking, like on like most people, like they're only going to see the above the fold part, which is the most important. Uh, and it's great. You got these little, like, this is actually really cool because there are many brands that don't have this. Who it's for? Try risk free. Like this just, how do I say this? Like this just addresses so many objections, which is great. Okay. All right, so this is the main page and the product page. I am personally a fan of this simply because what they did here is, they have a clean looking website, which is kind of like the most important thing nowadays. You don't want to have things that look complex, okay? Complexity is the killer of conversions, okay? Very important. All right, so now let's get into one of the most important parts, which is email, and this is where you're going to retain most of your customers. This is where you make your profit, essentially. If you don't have this dialed in, you're going to lose a lot of money, essentially. Okay, so we're going to talk about their pop-up, and this is actually a new pop-up they have. And they're doing, okay, so this is, by the way, desktop pop-up. I assume the mobile pop-up is pretty much the same, but it just looks different, okay? But we're going to talk about desktop specifically here, and I really like the fact that they're doing essentially what's currently working, which is a big offer on the front and starting with a micro commit. A micro commit, it can be a quiz, it can be just to click a button saying, yes, I want it. It can be a scratch thing, it can be like a wheel spin, it can be many things, right? And they're doing my personal favorite, which is a quiz, and it's what I personally think works the best, and it's what I use for most of my clients as well, with some exceptions, obviously. But they're doing this great focus and flow, calm, energy, creative clarity, all day productivity. And the cool thing about all this is that they collect data here, which is extremely important. Let's pretend that they see that more people are clicking on the calm energy. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to probably create a new product related to calm energy so that they can track these people, right? Not target, there you go. You get the point, right? So we got the very first pop-up here, the very first step of the pop-up. Great stuff. Then the second one, and I want you to notice here that like their pop-up is clean, it's simple, you know what I mean? And this is what works. It's straight to the point, Unlock 50% off plus free gifts to claim. Tell us what kind of boost are you looking for. And then here, they just said unlock 50% off plus free gifts. The free gifts is also a really nice touch. Again, super clean. Okay, so one thing that you should, in my opinion, test is this button. You can either change it to continue or claim now. I think continue, for some reason, like it's actually starting to convert better. Usually, I would say like 2 years ago, it was the opposite. It didn't convert very well, but now it converts. So that's a very interesting metric to look for. But yeah, it depends on the brand, but generally that's what's currently popping in a way, okay? And the final one, which I really like this, and the first brand I saw doing this was Grunts, I believe. So essentially, what you have to do here is to activate your offer, you have to give us your phone number. Right? Now, I think this is a good way to do it, but I think what Dr. Squatch does, I know I'm talking about a different brand now, but they actually, they use SMS subscription when they're doing product launches. And I feel like that's a much better way of doing it, because here people are locked with this. Like, oh, so if I don't give them their phone number, I can't have my offer. And giving the phone number, it's a very, difficult thing to do, you know what I mean? An email, it's totally fine, but your phone number, it's a different thing, right? But again, at the same time, so this is a little bit more of an aggressive approach, but SMS is definitely way more powerful than email. Okay, this is, even though you can only send, I would say two a month, if you want to play safe and get the most out of it. But still, it's a lot more powerful than email. So yeah, again, you need to do a lot of A/B testing with this stuff. But I personally think that if you were to do this, it would be totally fine. Before, people would just have sign up for special like offers. Nobody cares, essentially, right? So here we're being more aggressive and telling you, if you want to activate your offer, you gotta give us your phone number, essentially, right? And that's it. This is the current pop-up they're running with. Again, pretty clean, pretty simple, strong offer, and the structure of it is perfect as well. All right, so now we're going to talk about their emails, and this is going to be, I hope no one from Magic Mind is watching this, because I personally think that what they're currently doing is fine, but I personally think that what they're doing before was much better. This is just my personal opinion, okay? So basically, their newest emails are worse than their older emails, essentially. I don't know if they did this just to change up things a bit, or it's a new agency. I have no idea. But I personally think it's noticeably worse, in my personal opinion. Okay, so we're going to talk about the welcome flow. I only could find one email of them, not more for some reason. And the other interesting thing is that these are their latest campaigns, and they're also targeting first purchasers, which this kind of feels like it's for the welcome flow, but it's actually not, okay? So just to let you know that. I got this from Millet, and this one was from the actual email list, email inbox. This was the very first email I received from them, so very, very important, all right? Okay, so the very first thing I want to talk about here is the fact that they changed the offer straight away. So you can tell, if you notice that their offer is 50% off. Here is 58% off, okay? I noticed that straight away. I'm personally not a big fan of that. I like to just use the real offer. But again, I believe this is a brand that has done a lot of A/B testing, and they have a lot of data, and they know what's currently working for them. So I'm going to say it's a good change. I personally, generally, I don't like it very much, but I assume it's working for them. Okay, so let's go over it. The end of brain fog and mental fatigue, going straight to the main problem. I love that. Claim your welcome kit. I love this top part, like it's very clean, very simple. Not a lot of text, good stuff. But this second part, I feel like has a bit too much text together. Even though it can be an easy read, I don't think people are going to read this when they're scrolling an email. It's just my humble opinion. I would personally try and make this shorter or with some sort of an infographic. And I wouldn't make this vertical. And let me show you an example of what I mean by that. Like this. Where is it? Like this, right? I would change it to something like this, and you can clearly see the difference. Because when you're reading this on even on desktop, on mobile it's even worse, right? It's a little bit difficult to read and to choose the one you want. So if it's vertical like this, it's a lot easier to click and to see exactly what you want, right? Which is very important. But yeah, like I said before, I feel like the previous emails from like last year were just so much better than what they're currently doing. I don't know what happened here. But yeah, I assume they're doing I assume they have done a lot of A/B testing. That's what I mean by that. But I'm mentioning this a second time because their emails used to be my favorite emails, essentially. Like it were insane. Now they dropped the quality. I'm not gonna say drastically, but noticeably like high. They're still great, but I'm not a big fan of what they did here. Anyways, okay. I'm not gonna go over every single email now. I'm just gonna show you essentially what they're currently doing. These are their latest campaigns, just so that you know. I got this from Millet. And like I said in the beginning, like it's weird because they're targeting people that have never purchased it. This kind of feels like the welcome flow, you know what I mean? But it's actually not. So I really like this. This is a flash sale for people that has never purchased. Great idea. I really like that. The email looks great. I just don't like the fact that it's a lot of text. And the text is also a little bit difficult to read. Might not look like because I'm zooming in, but when you're seeing on the phone especially, it is not very easy to read all this. Or to skim it, to scan it essentially. Too much text, man. I'm not a fan of this, but whatever. It looks great, you know. Again, I really hope they know exactly what they're doing, because generally this is not the approach you should be going with for email, but yeah, they have a lot of data, so maybe their subscribers like to read, you know. And you might be saying, how can they know that? They see which emails perform the best, you know. If the emails that have more text perform the best, it's clearly that, you know, people like to read, right? Not a big fan of this infographic. But you know, like, it's great. It's not a bad email, but yeah, I wish I could show you the difference. I should honestly do that, but no, I'm not gonna do it now. You don't even know. I like this. This is great. I like this. This is perfect, honestly. This is a good email. This is a good email. Oh yeah. Good, like, balance here. I like it. I would personally remove this review, but whatever. Eh. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this. Like, having the text on the side. I think you should always have the text in the center, in my opinion. But whatever. And the last one, which I really like, and this is honestly something that you should be doing too. Like, just like okay, relax. Like, you can fake so many of these. It's actually insane. Okay, like, it's so easy to fake these, and you can do it yourself. I'm not saying, like, if you want to be righteous, like, you can obviously just use the real reviews, but I personally has faked some, and it works. You know, people are not gonna check where is this comment, you know, and it works really well. And the thing is, this just looks a lot more natural, you know. But yeah, great stuff here. All right, that's it for this entire video. Again, if you want to get this entire doc, it's the very first link in the description, and you also have the link on the pinned comment. Again, thank you very much for watching. Hope you like this, and I wish you an amazing rest of your day.